have offer letters from UCL as well as LSE, the most confusing part is to decide on which university to finalize and which university to actually go for to pursue your LLM degree. So hi guys, welcome to Simply Shivika and I am Shivika Mehra and welcome to episode 2 of my university comparison series, and in today's video I will be comparing UCL versus LSE. So basically in today's video I will be comparing both these universities so that you can make an informed decision and can actually pick the university which is the best for you. So now without any further ado, let's get started with the video. So let's get started with one of the most important points of comparison, which is the location of both the universities. So before we venture into this topic, let me tell you this one very important thing, that even if you as an individual think that location is not a point of consideration, then let me tell you very clearly that it is actually very important. So please keep this one thing in mind, that before you pick any university, please do check the location of that university. I understand that the university, the rankings, the modules offered by the university, your dream university, all these things are also very important, but location is also equally important. Most students just neglect this point of location and then they do face some or the other problem once they actually go to the university. So please keep this one thing in mind, that location is supremely important. And with this, now let's quickly compare the location of UCL and LSE. So UCL is in Bloomsbury, which is right in central London, and LSE is on Houghton Street, which is also in central London. So from a student perspective, both these universities will give you a central London experience, because both these universities do provide like a legal ecosystem to you. There are law firms, chambers, courts, financial institutions, government organizations, NGOs, conferences, and professional events that are around both these universities. So in this scenario, this point cannot be like a point of choice for you, because both the universities are in London. But there's a point that I would like you to make your decision on, which is that the neighborhood and the campus atmosphere of both these universities is quite different. So of course you cannot pick one of the two universities based on the location, because both these universities are situated in central London. But of course you can pick them depending on the atmosphere and the surrounding of the university, basically the vibe of the university. So UCL has a more traditional university campus feel around Bloomsbury, while LSE is much more integrated into the city, into the central London city. So that is something which is like a vibe difference between the two universities. So basically if you want more like of a traditional atmosphere in and around the university, then definitely go for UCL. However, if you want like more of an urban, highly urban experience, city center environment, then LSE I think will definitely appeal you more. Now let's talk about a very important point, which is university reputation and brand. So this is a point that usually students take into consideration, and yes, this should definitely be taken into consideration, because at the end of the day you really want to study from a well-known university, and you're not wrong if you want to go to a top-ranked university. Like that is something that you really wish for. So let me tell you this, that both these universities have a very significant name worldwide. Both of these universities are very well-known worldwide. So UCL is prominently very famous for law, whereas LSE on the other hand has has a particularly, distinctive global identity because of its concentration on social sciences, economics, politics, and related fields, which again are very well in sync with the field of law. So these fields are also very important for law, because law, of course, cannot, exist in isolation. You do need to have that sense of finance, economics, politics, international relations, public policy, and regulation. So of course, LSE provides you like, a larger ecosystem because you get to learn about all these things. But if you're just focusing on law, you just want to study law and you want to study from a well-known law university, then I think you can go for UCL. So I will not say that UCL wins or LSE wins. I'll just say that UCL has a very strong global recognition. It is known for law. It is like a brand which is known for a law degree, whereas LSE is extremely well known for like a very distinctive social sciences ecosystem, which of course supports the field of law. So basically, this is how both these universities are different. Of course, UCL has a great name in law, whereas LSE is much more popular for, politics, economics, social sciences, and these fields are also related to law. Now let's talk about the law school reputation. So of course, if you're going to, pursue your LLM from the UK, you really want to understand that how exactly is the reputation of the law schools of both these universities. So I'll just narrow down the comparison between these two universities. UCL Laws has a very strong research profile, while on the other hand, LSE Law School is also internationally recognized, and as I mentioned, it has a very strong reputation, particularly in the field of finance, economics, politics, international, commercial, socio-legal fields. So again, both are very elite choices, but again, your specialization becomes a point of decision. So I will not say that just look at the law school rankings of both the universities, but check the specialization which you want to pursue, because not one university is famous for all specializations. There can be times when LSE is particularly famous for a particular LM specialization, and there can be times when UCL is particularly famous for a particular specialization. So what you can do is that you can compare both these universities based on the specialization that you really wish to pursue. So this is one thing that I can, strongly recommend to you, which is that do your own research. Do not choose between a UCL or LSE because, there's like a survey that was conducted and, one university is better than the other. But what you can do is that you can first pick a specialization of your choice and then you can compare the modules. But let me tell you this first, that, all specializations are not offered by all universities. But if this is a case that your specialization is offered by both these universities, then compare the modules offered by both the universities, because the modules are definitely not the same. So you can always go for the university which offers the modules which are better in alignment with your career goals, with your future goals. So if you're interested in like a particular specialization like commercial law, corporate law, intellectual property law, arbitration, technology law, international law, human rights, depending on your choice, then do not just compare the university. That is not the right way to go about it. Compare the specific specialization, the modules, the academics, and the dissertation opportunities. So do not just see the overall ranking of the university. Check the ranking of the university in that particular specialization and check the modules offered under that specialization by that university. That will help you make a very right choice, and that will actually be able to, influence your decision in the best way possible, which you will definitely not regret in the times to come. Now let's compare the tuition fees. Again, a very important point of discussion. It's very important to talk about money. But before I actually tell you about the tuition fees, I just want to make this very clear that the tuition fees varies from year to year, from university to university. So, it really varies from each academic year to the other. So what you can do is, in my opinion, that always check the website of the university in which you really want to do your masters and then pick the university, because the website of the university will give you a fair idea of the tuition fees. So as for now, I'm just talking about the academic year 2026 to 2027. Of course, there can be, some changes as you go on with the upcoming academic years, but as of 2026 2027, the overseas LLM fees for UCL, for University College London, is £39,200, and for LSE the overseas LLM fees is £39,900. So the difference in the tuition fees is for about £700. So in my opinion, what you can do is that you can see that does this difference of £700 really matter for you? Because if it really matters for you, then you can pick a university which has cheaper tuition fees, because then you save these £700, and then you can actually use these £700 to live in the UK, because of course the living expenses are also rather high. Additionally, I just want to tell you this one thing, that never ever make your decision based on just the tuition fees, because there are various other living expenses that you really have to bear while you are living in the UK. For an example, your accommodation, your groceries, your transport, other utilities, or any healthcare, immigration costs, or just general living expenses. So of course you should take into consideration this £700 difference between these two universities, and then calculate that which university is better for you. Because apart from the tuition fees, like this is just the tuition fees that I have told you, there are a lot many expenses that you really have to bear while you are in the UK. So if these £700 actually make a huge difference for you, then you can always opt for UCL, and you can just leave LSE. So in my opinion, what you can do is that you can make a very informed decision. You can just check your finances, and then you can actually calculate the tuition fees, the living expenses, the visa, the travel fees, and all these things before you actually make a decision. If these pounds matter for you, if this difference really matters for you, then I would recommend you to go for UCL. But if LSE is your dream university and you are okay with giving those extra £700, then LSE should be your choice. It really varies from person to person. It is completely your personal choice based on your finances. Now let's talk about again a very important point, which is that what exactly are the entry requirements. So now let's talk about the admissions. I'm again talking about academic year 2026-2027. Of course, in general cases, the admission criteria remains the same, but each year I would really advise you to check the website to be very sure. So on the website, UCL says that applicants should have a good 2:1 with evidence of first class ability, normally at least like a 65% of all the years, or at least like a first class mark or an equivalent. So UCL also evaluates your motivation, reasoning, analytical ability, and communication skills. So whenever you write your SOP, try to integrate all these things, the motivation, reasoning, analytical ability, and communication skills in that, so that it really sets an impression in the minds of the admission officer. While LSE's general masters, in that you need like a minimum first or upper second class degree or an equivalent, but LSE explicitly states that the competition is intense, and meeting the minimum requirements will not guarantee you a degree. So of course getting into LSE is quite difficult. The competition is very high. The LLM application considers your academic achievements, your academic purpose, your references, your CV, your SOP, and all those things. So do not think that if you have a minimum grade you will get into LSE. Many other things are taken into consideration. So as compared to UCL, getting into LSE is harder. So the competition, if you compare LSE and UCL, the competition in LSE is rather high as compared to UCL. So this is something that you should definitely keep in mind. Now let's talk about the career prospects, which is something that usually students are very confused about. Usually students think that, what exactly happens after an LLM. So let me tell you this, that both these universities, as I've already mentioned, are situated in central London. So both these universities do give you that, legal and professional ecosystem. But always remember this one thing, whether it is LSE or whether it is UCL, a job in the UK is not guaranteed, or being able to practice in the UK is not guaranteed, because just the name of the university will not get you anywhere. There are various other skills which are taken into consideration by the employers. So keep this one thing in mind, that it is very important to get a degree from a top ranked university. That is of course taken into consideration, and that is like a highly regarded factor, but that is not the only factor which will get you into a law firm, or which will not get you into a law firm. So your professional route really depends on your existing qualification, your nationality, your visa, if you need a sponsorship or not, your experience, your professional qualification, and of course the university and the grades that you've got during your LLM. So do not join a university based on this assumption that if you clear your degree from UCL, then you will definitely become like a barrister or solicitor in the UK, or if you do your degree from LSE, then you will definitely get like a high paying job. That is not how it really works. So keep this one thing in mind, that both these universities will give you immense exposure, because both these universities are situated in London. But then how you make the most of your LLM degree is completely up to you. And then once you're actually able to make the most of your LLM degree, then only will you be able to get a job in the UK, and then only will you be able to build a career in the UK in the times to come. Now let's talk about a very important point, which is networking. So whether you go to UCL or LSE, in my opinion, you will get great exposure and you will be able to network in the best way possible. Of course, only if you take the initiative. So if you are studying either in UCL or LSE, you have access to law firms, chambers, professional events, university events, conferences, guest lectures, alumni events, or even other universities, financial institutions, NGOs, government organizations, and professional societies. But how you make the most of these networking opportunities is completely up to you. I would not tell you to, attend all the events and skip the lectures. You really have to balance both these things. But I will definitely tell you that whenever you have time, whenever you're not attending a lecture, and whenever you have time, please attend an event, and please try to network, because both these universities are in central London. So you get an excellent chance to network in the best way possible. So I would highly recommend you to network as much as you can. So, of course, do not miss your lectures and attend a networking event. But do not do this, that you just attend lectures the entire year and do not attend even a single networking event. That is not how it works, because then that will be your loss, because the universities definitely, whether it is LSE or UCL, is giving you an opportunity to network. But if you are not making the most of it, then it is not the fault of the university. So now let's talk about the post-study work visa. It is a very crucial point, which usually students do take into consideration, and definitely it should be taken into consideration. Soon the immigration rules are currently changing. The UK graduate visa lasts 2 years if you apply on or before 31st December 2026, but 18 months if you apply on or after 1st January 2027. So as far as the 2026-2027 batch is concerned, if you apply on or before 31st December, then you will get the 2 years work visa. However, if you apply on or after 1st Jan 2027, then you will just get 18 months of work visa. This is something that you should definitely take into consideration. However, for the upcoming batches, the rule will be that you will get an 18-month work visa. So the eligibility criteria and all these things are the same. So it does not matter that from which university have you actually graduated. UCL and LSE do not have different graduate visa routes. Basically, it does not matter if you have done your masters from LSE or UCL. That is not the criteria based on which you will or will not get your work visa. So whether you do your masters from UCL or from LSE, you will get the work visa, of course, if you apply for it. Now let's talk about scholarships which are offered by both these universities. So both these universities do provide funding opportunities. UCL lists LLM specific scholarships, including academic excellence scholarships, which is about £10,000 worth towards the tuition fees. And LSE, on the other hand, has a substantial graduate funding. Its graduate support schemes offers need-based awards, and LSE states that GSS awards can range from £5,000 to £20,000 depending on your financial need. So basically you can get financial assistance, basically you can get scholarship under the graduate support scheme in LSE, and there is something particularly interesting for Indian applicants. This is something that I really want to tell. So if you're someone who's like an Indian who's applying for LSE, if you really want to do your masters from LSE, then LSE's Merchant Foundation LLM scholarship offers £10,000 and is specifically available to Indian students who wish to do full-time LLM. So if you're an Indian student, definitely try to research about this scholarship as well. Additionally, apart from this, I have posted a separate video in which I have talked about the scholarships which are offered by UK universities. You can definitely watch that video as well. You will find the link of that video in the description down below and also in the pinned comment. After watching that video, you will have a very fair idea of what kinds of scholarships are offered by the UK universities. So in this, I have just talked about very specific scholarships which are offered by LSE and UCL, but in that video I have also talked about some of the government funded scholarships, UK government funded as well as Indian government funded, as well as scholarships which are funded by some of the NGOs in India. So please do watch that video as well to have a very clear idea of the various scholarships that you can definitely avail if you are going to pursue your LLM from the UK. Now let me quickly tell you that who should pick which university. So basically, first let's talk about UCL and then we'll talk about LSE. So I would say that seriously consider UCL if you want a highly ranked global university, if you value a strong research environment, if you want broad module flexibility, basically you can pick the module of your choice, if you already know about the specialization, if you think that UCL has a better name in that specialization, if you really want to study from a very traditional university, that means that the vibe of the university is very traditional with a central London environment, and if you want access to London's legal ecosystem. So if you really want to go to UCL, these are some of the points that you should definitely take into consideration. Now let's talk about that who should definitely go for LSE. I would seriously recommend you to go for LSE if you value the brand name, if you really value the LSE's brand name. Secondly, if you're seriously interested in the intersection of law with economics, finance, politics, and policy, if you really value the international and alumni environment, if you want to explore law along with other LSE disciplines, and if you are targeting careers particularly where the LSE ecosystem is relevant. So basically, if you really want to study some of the other fields along with law, then definitely go for LSE. Now let's quickly compare both the universities on various points so that you can make an informed decision. The first one being overall university reputation. Both of these have great reputation, so this cannot just be a point of decision for you. Secondly, law reputation. Again, both these universities are very well known for law. UCL, however, is just known for law, like very well known for law, whereas LSE on the other hand is known for law along with some main disciplines which it focuses on even more, such as politics, social sciences, economics. The global reputation, both these universities are globally well recognized. If I compare the tuition fees as of academic year 2026-2027, UCL is cheaper by £700. Module flexibility, both these universities offer module flexibility, so basically you can pick the module of your choice. If I compare based on research, UCL has a particularly stronger research profile. If I talk about finance, economics, and policy ecosystem, I would give my vote to LSE because it does have like a distinctive advantage. If I talk about the location, it's a tie because both these universities are in central London. If I talk about the international environment, then it's again a tie because both these universities do provide you a very good environment. The next point is career support. Both these universities offer good career support. If I talk about the academic environment, basically the specialization, it really varies based on the specialization that you really wish to do. There can be times when LSE is better known for a specialization, and there can be times when UCL is better known for a specialization. So you can actually check based on your specialization. And that is why I think that there is no universal answer to the question that, which university is better, whether LSE is better or UCL is better. It just varies from person to person, and it really varies depending on your career goals and your aspirations. Basically, it really varies that which university, fits better as per your career goals. And with this, we come towards the end of the video, and this was episode 2 of my university comparison series in which I compared LSE versus UCL. I really hope that you found this video useful. In case you have any other confusion with regards to these two universities, you can let me know in the comments down below and I will answer your question. Additionally, please let me know that which other universities you want me to compare, and I will definitely film the upcoming episodes based on your recommendation. Additionally, I regularly post videos in which I explain law topics in the easiest way possible. So if you haven't watched my videos, you can definitely watch them. You will find the link of all the videos in the description down below and also in the pinned comment. Along with this, I also regularly post videos based on my UK LLM experience. So please watch those videos as well. You will find the link of all those videos as well in the comments down below and also in the pinned comment. Additionally, if you want to book a one-on-one session with me in which I will guide you entirely about doing an LLM from the UK, you can book your session on this number right here. You can just drop a WhatsApp text on this number and I will share the details with you. The sessions start at just ₹100. So if you want clarity with regards to doing an LLM from the UK, then please book these sessions as well. Additionally, please stay tuned for many more episodes of my university comparison series. Till then, please like, share, comment and subscribe, watch my other videos and stay tuned for many more videos which are coming your way. And please take care of yourselves. Bye bye.